Bada bang, bada boom. Realest guys in the room. What's cracking? What's cracking? What's cracking? It's your boy B.O.N.Z. the Smack Guy, joined by the smartest sports mind that I know, the marvelous one. What is cracking?
Bro, how was your holiday? How was your weekend? Doing good, man?
Hey, man, this is a 3-day weekend. And I don't know when I got to this age where I always need like a vacation from my vacation. Or 3-day week. I need like a day of rest after a 3-day weekend, right?
Right.
Right. My weekend was great. It's filled with athletics. Good stuff. A little bit fatigued, a little bit tired, but nonetheless happy to be here with you, talking to the people about what's going on in the world of sports, man. With the Gumby show. How about you, man?
You know what? I'm just about ready for this show. Let me see. Now I'm ready.
Good.
I'm ready.
Glad you're ready. Very important that you're ready. Very, very important that you feel ready. I am ready. When last we spoke here, I was tooting my own horn about how right I was about Pandemic P, right? Pandemic P is absolute garbage. Why does anybody think he's any good? The Clippers are down 0-2, and they are on their way to Dallas, and it's about to get ugly. But unlike other people on other shows who want to give you hot takes and act like they never said it, if I'm wrong, I'll call myself out. I'm going to call myself out. The Clippers are still alive in this shit. They seem to have stolen momentum. And at this point, we're at 2-2. Who do you have in that series?
Oh, I'm sitting here with my foot in my mouth. I'm like you. I thought it was a done deal. I thought it was going to be, at worst, a gentleman's sweep. I mean, at best, a gentleman's sweep. You know what a gentleman's sweep is. They get one. It's 4-1. So
I like that term.
Yeah. So I'm eating crow over here too. I don't know what got into him, but Ty Lue made some adjustments. Dallas has not. Rick Carlisle is a good coach. We'll see what happens. But right now, it's looking like the Clippers. It's looking like the Clippers. And it flipped as soon as it flopped.
It's wild, right? They just seem like they were dead in the water, and it seemed like Dallas was doing a thing. And again, the narrative that I'm going to continue to push is that the young G's, the young Pee-wees are trying to take it away from the OGs, from the established dudes. So it looked like Luka Doncic was on his way to taking that first step, to knocking off a Giant, to knocking off a Kawhi Leonard, to knocking off a playoff P, to knocking off a Clippers team. That Mark Cuban has settled in and found his Euros that we're going to actually take that step. And it looks like, again, it looks like this is the first series in which we're seeing the OGs fight back. They were on the ropes. The OGs are going to be on the ropes at certain times in these playoffs. Mm-hmm. The OGs were on the ropes, but they came back swinging, and they appear to be the team to pick. If I don't know what the Vegas odds are right now, but if I had to pick between these two teams, I'm flippity-flopping my pick, and I'm going with Kawhi Leonard.
That's the thing. I'm going with Kawhi. He's pretty much the only person on the Clippers that I really trust. Everyone else has been take that back. I trust Rondo. I'm not sure what it took him so long to put Rondo, give him regular minutes. Have they not heard of playoff Rondo? Have they not seen Rondo in the playoffs? Last couple of games, they have been putting him in the lineup more, getting more minutes. So him and Kawhi are the people I trust. And I trust them a little bit more than a hurt Luka and disappearing acts as far as the Dallas Mavericks goes.
Man, and people don't even realize, like, first of all, I agree with everything you said there. I don't think people really understand, like, how connected this show is. I actually had an opportunity to reach out to my boy Kawhi Leonard, and I wanted to know how he felt. So hold on, I'm go ahead and bring up Kawhi. Kawhi, how do you feel after everybody doubting you? Oh, wait a minute. What is that? Everybody down to Kawhi.
I don't even know where he's sitting at.
There we go. All right, well, you got it.
You know what? I heard he's a fun guy. I heard that he's a fun guy.
I heard he drives the Camry. I really heard this.
No, I kind of believe that.
That's what I heard. Like the word is that this guy drives the Camry. He's from Compton, South Central. He's like from Riverside or something like that.
All
right, you know what? See, this is one thing I hate. I gotta be honest with you, man. This is what I hate. I hate when my friends from the Bay Area move to LA and adopt LA culture. All right, listen, if you're here, if you're north of Fresno, LA is just one big ass thing that's an L and an A, and it stretches from the Grapevine to San Diego. Everything in between the Grapevine and San Diego is LA to us here. Riverside, Compton, South Central, Anaheim, Pasadena, Long Beach, you fucking break. All that shit is LA.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, just like all the Bay Area is the Bay Area.
Yeah. It's
just
LA.
like, yeah, all the Bay Area is Bay Area. Vallejo to San Jose, same thing. Vallejo to San Jose, same thing. It's going to take you 2 hours to get from one to the other, but it's the same thing.
Do people from Riverside not say they're from LA?
People from I have no idea. I don't think I've met anybody from Riverside.
That's my point, because everybody from Riverside is going to say they're from LA.
Yeah, they probably are. Because everyone that I went to school in Berkeley, everyone that went to Berkeley that was from Southern California said they're from Southern California. They're from LA.
Yeah.
And it turns out they're from 8 different places.
Exactly. Yeah, so good for the Clippers. I will say this. I'm a Warriors fan. I don't give a fuck about who wins any of these games, right? I'm just rooting for good matchups. And the Clippers winning this matchup and staying alive makes the playoffs more fun. I want to see the battle for LA.
I kind of want to see it, but at the same time, I'm a Warrior fan. I don't care who wins. I like to see very good and I like to see very bad. I like to see people being celebrated and I like to see people go down in flames. So, it doesn't matter which one the Clippers do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I don't know any Clipper fans except for Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
So there's nobody
Clipper Daryl.
So there's nobody I can really rag on if they lose. So yeah, that takes kind of the fun out of it. But it's good to see them right the ship. It makes the series more interesting, and it'll be interesting to see if they actually can go on a playoff
run. As a gambling man, I'm gonna have to see the odds on that. I do know one Clipper fan. I want to shout him out. His name is Leon Shabazian. I do a mixed martial arts show with the guy. So I do want to say they do have one fan now. Shabazian has been known to like a team and mid-season switch that team and say he doesn't like him anymore. And then also switch back to said team in the same season. And ain't no telling if he'll switch again by the end of the playoffs. So, but for now, we call him Skip Bazian. Leon Skip Bazian is the only Clipper fan that I do know in real life.
Yeah, so a Clipper fan, and let me know is your goal. Let me know if you ever meet a Charger fan. I've yet to meet one of those. I've yet to meet a Charger fan.
They don't exist.
There's no such thing. They're unicorns.
They don't exist, man. What series you want to talk about next?
Let's talk in general. This is crazy to me. There's only been one sweep in the first round this year, and it's been the series that you probably didn't expect for it to be a sweep. Milwaukee, Miami. That's been the only sweep of the first round.
Yeah.
Have you thought of that?
that series was quiet. Did it even happen? Were there any storylines? Was there?
There was no storylines. Milwaukee dominated like they were the 1 seed, and Miami was the 8. It was quiet. It was, business as usual. I mean, they might as well put it on NBA TV because that's sort of their alternate where they put a series on and nobody watches it. But I don't think there were any storylines in the fact just that it was a clean sweep with no hesitation, no fight back, no kickback. I'm surprised. I'm shocked by that.
Yeah. When was the last time that a team made it to the NBA Finals and then got swept in the first round the following year? It happened, right? But goodness gracious.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a reason that would happen. I mean, seriously, Milwaukee pretty much had the same team. You trade Bledsoe for Holiday, but that shouldn't have made that much of a difference to where you lost one series and then if you're Miami, you win the series against Milwaukee, and then the next one you just get swept 4 games.
Yeah. Hard to understand what went wrong there, because you would think that with Jimmy Butler alone, you do better than that.
Well,
he's enough to win a game.
Yeah, you would think so. There are rumors, and if you look at this person's play, you would think those rumors are true. And that's one of the stars of the bubble last year, Tyler Hero. Have you heard anything about him?
I'm glad you brought that up, because what I did hear was I just heard like he became a meme that after that song came out, he just went and was total trash. But no, I didn't hear the rumor. What's the rumor here?
Well, the rumor is pretty much that he let his performance go to his head in the bubble from last year. Didn't come back, work as hard. And he came and the Miami nightlife got to him. So not only was he not working hard, but he was partying a little harder than he was working.
See, no, I did not hear that.
Yeah, this is what's rumored to have been going on. And if you look at his performance this year, not only in the playoffs, but in the regular season, it has not been the player that he was at the bubble last year.
Hold on, let's take a look at something right here. I'm glad you said that. Let's go ahead and stop this one here. Apparently, Jason Tatum had something to say about this here. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Let's go ahead and pull this up and let's see what Jason Tatum.
So it was just like we was just out there playing. I ain't gonna say no names, but it was some people on the other team. I'm like, hold on, he don't normally play like that. Like, I'm like, he acting different in the bubble. So I don't know if it was because there wasn't no fans there, or it just the environment kind of like just let you play a little more freely. Yeah, so it was just like we was just out there playing. I ain't gonna say no names, but it was some people on the other team.
So he basically called him a bubble fraud. Tyler Hero was a bubble fraud. Like, he don't normally play like this.
Right. For someone to say he don't normally play like this, like he's playing better. Yeah. That just, it's like, come on now. Fraudulent here.
Here's the thing. I would say I don't want to sound like I'm racist, but I actually don't care. Call me racist. I actually don't care. Cancel me. You can't cancel me. I don't give a damn. But how does a white guy in the NBA get overconfident? Like, homie, even at your best, you're not top 10. How?
You make a strong point.
Where in the world do you have the audacity to become overconfident? A white guy in the NBA, you have to work your ass off to be average. You got to work your ass off to be average. When was the last time an American-born white guy was taken in the top 3 of an NBA draft?
Top 3? Ooh.
When was the last time an American-born white guy was drafted number 1 in the draft?
Number one.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm stumping a guy that knows more about sports than anybody I know.
I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. Off top, I'm thinking, oh shoot, number one. We have to go back to Bill Walton.
What the fuck was it? When the fuck was NBA white American-born white guy drafted? Man, I'm not gonna, now I gotta look it up, man. I gotta hide this was.
Yeah,
that's a great question, right? Am I bugging there?
No.
When was the last time? All right. Bill Walton is what you're saying.
That's my guess.
Let's see. Well, we know it wasn't in the last 10 years. I'm on a website right now and I'm trying to look it up. But go ahead and keep talking about it. Look this up.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. Here's a list. Here you go. I'm going to go ahead and
okay. Go ahead.
We can take a look here so we can see who are these human beings. Go to good old wiki here. All right. Anthony Edwards, he's not white. Zion Williamson, blacker than me. DeAndre Ayton, blacker than me. Markelle Fultz, blacker than me. Ben Simmons, lighter than you.
Yeah.
Cat, about your color. Wiggins, about my color. Anthony Bennett, oh my gosh. Everybody want to talk about Kwame Brown. Why we don't be talking about Anthony Bennett, bro? It was a bust.
Yeah, but that was a bad draft. I mean, that was one of those where you're like, well, somebody has to go number one.
It was, right? Just think if you were the worst team the year before, you got Anthony Davis. The year after that, Anthony Bennett.
And that's the main reason that the Cavs had the number one pick in the next year.
Yeah, the back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back number one overalls.
John Wall, definitely not white. Blake Griffin could probably pass for white, but not white. D Rose, your color. Andrea Bargnani. He's white, but the whites can't claim him because he's Italian. Ooh, Andre Bogut. The whites can't claim him either. He's from Australia. Working our way back. Ola Candy, Joe Smith. Holy cow. All right. Now we're back to 1985.
That's Patrick. Oh,
here we go. 1977. 1977. Kent Benson.
Kent Benson. I have never heard of him in my life.
He went on to average 7.7 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, and 1 assist a game. Kent Benson was the last American-born white.
I was close with Bill Walton.
That was 34 years ago.
I was close with Bill Walton.
You were actually really close. There was only one white guy saving you from being wrong.
And that name was Kent Benson.
Kent Benson fucked you up, bro. So again, Tyler, motherfucking hero, where do you get the nerve and the audacity to get a big head about playing basketball? You weren't top 10. You weren't top 20. Arguably wasn't a top 30 basketball player. You had a lot of work to do, but you got a little song named after you. Lived in Miami, started playing with the Booger Sugar, and now you're an afterthought. And now you're at home watching the Gumby show.
Yeah, now you better watch it because Pat Riley is your GM, and he will trade you in a heartbeat.
Quick.
He will send you to basketball purgatory, otherwise known as the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, this is live from Sacramento. We can't do that.
It's funny because it's true. I'm just serious.
All right, so since we were talking about LA, okay, we weren't talking about LA, but here's a segue. LA Lakers, 2-2 series. How are you feeling about that one?
Ooh, I guess it all depends on AD's health, because it looked like they had righted the ship. They took game 2 and took game 3 rather easy fashion. Chris Paul was hurt. And then, AD gets hurt. And if you haven't been paying attention to basketball before, this is what AD does.
Yeah, for real. Like often.
I have never, ever seen somebody start a game and go to the locker room during the game as many times as Anthony Davis does. I'm not going to say that he's soft, or I think the word would be brittle.
Brittle.
I think I would use brittle. Yeah,
Brittle,
not soft, but brittle.
Yeah.
Like he goes to the locker room a lot. He hurts himself a lot during the games. And that's who Lakers and LeBron hitched their wagon to. So who knows what's going to happen the rest of this series? I don't know. I didn't. When they said he was hurt, not coming back, I was like, that's what he does.
Yeah, it's almost like when he gets injured and you see the report on ESPN, you want to refresh the page to make sure you're not looking at an old page of the same because it happens a lot.
And the funny thing is, it's a totally unrelated injury to what he's been dealing with, as far as I could tell. I mean, when I saw that I was listening to it on the radio and I heard he was coming back, I was like, oh man, his knee must be bothering him. And I was like, his groin. But I didn't know his groin was hurting. Before it was his knee, it was his Achilles, and now it's his groin. It's like you can't pinpoint his injuries. They're just so random. And like I said, it just appears that he's brittle.
All right, you know what? I don't normally shoot niggas no bail, but I'm going to shoot Anthony Davis in bail. As a tall nigga, I'm 6'5". Everything hurts. Everything. My knees, the back. The doctor said I need a backiotomy. I got crickety knees. But wake up wrong, my neck is hurting. My foot was hurting here. Everything hurts when you're tall, man. And I'm 6'5". That nigga's 7 feet tall.
True, but he's not like Yao Ming. He's not like Rick Smith or Bill Walton or Greg Oden, all these guys whose legs and feet weren't built to handle his body. He's not like that.
No, he's not.
He's more on the lean side, not skinny, but definitely not like one of those guys. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I just know that it happens often.
It happens very often.
I'm gonna give you a quote. This is from my boy Drea Barrett yesterday. We were talking about this online. My boy Drea Barrett says, whichever Monstar steals Anthony Davis' talent in the new Space Jam movie is going to be out 4 to 6 days.
Shout out Drea Barrett, man.
And that is true. I'm like, yeah, that's
yeah. Be careful whose powers you steal, homie.
So yeah, right now I can't call that series. They're going back to Phoenix for Game 5. I don't think AD is going to play, and if he is, I can't see how effective he's going to be. And they look absolutely lost without him yesterday.
The Suns are an interesting team. They've done a fantastic job of drafting, right?
Yeah.
Putting together these pieces. They even snaked the Warriors by trading away Kelly Oubre. Why the fuck did we give them anything to take on Kelly Oubre? They should have gave us DeAndre Ayton to take Kelly Oubre. My least favorite Warrior of all time is Kelly Oubre.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, no, the Suns have done a great job. And the funny thing is, they're just well balanced.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Ayton, giving like 20 and 10 yesterday, and Booker put in his usual points. I don't even think he got his usual points. Chris Paul got about 17, 18. Cameron Payne, who I wrote off as being one of the worst guards in the NBA a couple years ago. I mean, this guy has come back from wherever he was. I think he was playing in China last year, and he's a totally different player than he was. Jay Crowder gives him about 15, 12, 15.
Let's stop on Cameron Payne, because as I'm watching some of these games, Cameron Payne is somebody who jumps off the page at me. Mm-hmm. And I got to ask you, like, Cameron Payne, give me a comp. He's got like a Paul Pierce face, you know what I mean? But game-wise, who do you comp him to? Because the guy's a hooper.
You know, if that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because he kind of reminds me, I mean, he's not at this level yet, but he kind of reminds me of a young Greg Anthony.
Okay. Very fair.
Yeah, that's the first name that comes into mind. Like a young Greg Anthony that's able to get to the hole. I mean, yesterday he was able to get to the hole pretty much at will, you know, and his handles are good. He's got a nice outside shot. Again, this is someone who I didn't think belonged in the league a couple years ago. The league agreed with me, by the way, because he was out of the league.
Because he wasn't in the league.
And then, you know, he showed up in the bubble last year. I was like, Cameron Payne, really? And he's shown out this year, and especially in the playoffs with Chris Paul being hobbled. He's been asked upon to do more, and he's done more.
And like just a nice solid line, 13 points. His plus minus is minus 1.3. Gets about a steal and a block. Gets 4.5 assists. Shooting 42% from the 3-point line. You know, it's like those numbers are not impressive at all. But when you watch him play, it's like big shots, big assists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Those aren't eye-popping numbers, but those are the type of numbers you want from your backup point guard.
Yeah.
Those are the type of numbers you want from your backup point guard. So he's doing this thing. Like I said, they're just really balanced. And this is what was funny yesterday is, you know, AD goes out of the game and Phoenix goes from like a 4-point lead to like an 18-point lead.
Yeah.
But they did this. I was watching the game and it's like Phoenix is now 0-10 from the 3-point line in the second half. I'm like, you went up plus 14 without hitting the three? Wow.
They were what was their 3-point? 0-10?
They were 0-10 when they stretched the lead out from 4 to 18.
I don't think that's fair to say they were 0-10. I think it's fair to say that they were 0-1 and Jay Crowder was 0-9. Because Jay Crowder is shooting 17% from the 3-point line.
I don't think Jay Crowder knows how to take a 2-point shot. I don't think so. I just think that his body automatically runs back to the 3-point line. He could be on a one-man fast break and he'll run to the 3.
Who is his agent? It's like Rich Paul, his agent. I think he's realized that stretch fours get paid. So he's like, I'm a stretch four. But it's like, you're not a stretch four. You're just a four that shoots a lot of 3-pointers.
It shoots only 3-pointers.
Yeah, you're not really a stretch four, bro. Yeah. I see you working, but in order to be a stretch four, you actually have to be a good 3-point shooter. Not just shoot 3-pointers, right?
Yeah.
Interesting matchup. I still got to take the Lakers here, but let me just say this. If the Lakers do lose this series, then I'm going to officially put the biggest. Okay, I've already got a big asterisk next to the championship, but I'm not going to consider that a real championship if they go out in the first round this year. Sorry.
If they go out in the first round and Miami already went out in the first round, that just lets you know that last year's championship series was straight trash.
An absolute fraud.
Fraudulent. Yeah. Fraudulent. It's like that one season of the Dukes of Hazzard when they bought in Bo and Luke Duke's cousins. And they ran a whole season with that. And it was absolute trash.
Oh, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
You don't remember this?
Bo and Luke Duke.
So Bo and Luke Duke, I'm going to give you a little history lesson. The Dukes of Hazzard. show took off. They were big stars. They wanted to pay raise. Producers didn't want to do it, so they took strike, and they actually replaced them with their so-called cousins who look just like them, and they ran a season or maybe like a few episodes with Bo and Luke Duke's cousins. So
the Lakers are the Lakers.
The Lakers and the Heat are the fake. They're the soft cousins of the real deal of the NBA Finals.
So wait a minute. Let's take a look here. So this is the scene in which Bo and Luke died. They drowned. First of all, that ain't a real. That's a pond.
Awesome on a gun bush. I'm going in. Get him.
That was the death of Bo and Luke Duke, and I don't remember this. Didn't remember that. That is a great 80s reference. You've done it again. You've done it again. So Bo and Luke Duke had some carbon copies, some scabs come in. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly hilarious. So the Lakers would be Bo and the Heat would be Luke.
Yep, definitely. And we'll see. I can't call this series at all. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because, just Anthony Davis being hurt has thrown a whole monkey wrench into it. And it's a new series. It's 2-2, like the other LA team. Let's see, who's else? Portland and Denver are 2-2 now. I'm not sure what's going to happen with them. I think the East series are pretty much a wrap, although we'll have to see what happens with Joel Embiid, who seems to be in the same boat as Anthony Davis.
Yeah. All right. So which brings me what a great segue. Which brings me to a question I have. Let's say you are the GM and there's going to be an expansion draft. You get to pick a big man, and they say you can either have Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid. Who are you taking with that pick? First of all, when healthy, who do you think is better? When fully healthy.
When fully healthy. Ooh. I think they go back and forth. I think this year Embiid was better. I don't know if that had to do with the Lakers being in the bubble, the championship, and the short turnaround from last year, but I think Embiid has been playing better. I'm not sure if he's a better prospect or has a higher ceiling. I think we pretty much know what his ceiling is, but I think if I would take one or the other, I would probably take Embiid.
I would say, like, at their best, to me, I honestly think that Joel is the better player when he's at it. I think he's literally one of the most dominant guys I've seen at that big man position since Shaq. Just pure size, but he's just almost never healthy. But I think when he's like actually healthy and playing, like just a fucking force of nature. It's uncanny, like his skill set. You don't see human beings that tall with that much skill at just about anything.
Yeah.
So for me, when healthy, Embiid is the better player. Who's healthy more often, I think, is probably Anthony Davis. Would I be wrong there? I don't know. I'm just throwing.
I don't know. I think it's more of a timing thing with Embiid. It seems like he gets hurt
late
in the playoffs or late in the season more so. But this this year has been different because you could look at him and he is a lot more slim than he was in the past. He's a lot more trimmed up, and I think that's helped him this year. You know, this latest injury aside, he's had a relatively healthy year, except for some bad falls that resulted in injuries. Yeah. So I don't remember seeing anybody, like I said, who goes to the locker room more than Anthony Davis. And it doesn't always seem, it's not ever really a serious thing. Like, he's not going back there because he tore ACL or, anything major like that. It's just knickknacks with him.
Now let's look at Joel Embiid. He missed his entire rookie season because of a foot injury. And then he missed the next season and did not play a single game because of a foot injury.
They're being cautious with him.
The following year, he played 31 games. He's averaging 10 games a season for his first three. Then 63, 64, 51, and 51. Anthony Davis, 36 games, 62, 56, 75 cents. So to me, Anthony Davis is available more often. So for that reason, I don't know. I think I gotta go Davis just because I think that he plays more often. But I'm telling you, this kid is supremely talented. So my pick is Davis. It's by a hair. It's not an easy pick, and if you ask me tomorrow, I might say Embiid.
I think I would still take Embiid, and I would load manage the hell out of him.
You'd have to.
I would load manage the hell out of him. No back-to-backs, and I just might give him a couple days before and after the All-Star break. Just give him some time.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, when players get later in their NBA careers, they'll routinely not sign with the team until late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'd probably preserve him much in the way of that. Like, you know what? I just want you to be here when the playoffs start. So we'll play you. We'll keep you in shape. I mean, really, I would have to load balance that guy, load manage that guy, and I'd have to have him play 40 games during the regular season. I'd find the optimal level of games to keep him in shape and sharp.
Yeah.
And also keep his joints healthy. Keep his soft tissue healthy.
Right.
That would
be. Go ahead.
Was that?
That's it. Go ahead.
I was like, yeah, that was that. That was it.
Okay.
So prediction-wise, let's just take a quick look at the board here. And I want to know where you're leaning on some of these things here. So, all right, Utah versus Memphis. I think there shouldn't be any drama here.
I think Utah's going to wrap that up in the next game.
Despite
John Morant's best efforts, I think he's got too much for him.
Gentleman sweep.
Gentleman sweep.
Right. Dallas and the Clippers. Gun to your head.
Gun to my head. I'm gonna go Clippers because Luka did not look good the other day. He's struggling. He was struggling to turn his head. So yeah, without Luka, without Luka, they have no shot.
All right. Denver versus Portland. Who you got here? You sticking with Portland?
I'm gonna stick with Portland. It was looking shabby. That pick was looking bad after game 3, but I think they righted the ship. You know, they beat Denver the other day, and Dame only had 10 points.
Yeah,
he was 1 for 10 from the field. That's unheard of for them to win a game like that. So yeah. I'm gonna stick with Portland with that. What about you?
I'm on the Nuggets, man. I think the Nuggets was just loaded. I really like their team. It's another team I feel is drafted really well. They got some playoff experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jamal Murray being out is obviously, the elephant in the room. So, but I think they can get through this to give the Lakers a good matchup in round 2. Lakers or the Suns. I don't want to spoil it. But
well, you're still taking Lakers though, right?
Yeah. I mean, why not spoil? Yeah. I'm still going to take the Lakers. The series is tied 2-2. This has been great playoff experience for the Suns. I'm enjoying this postseason, but I'm not going to bet against LeBron in round one. I still believe the NBA to be the most corrupt of all the major sports right now. Whereas, yeah, he'll get the calls because it's worth more money to the league if he goes on. But not that they'll need it. I'm just in the Lakers. They're going to get the calls, and they've got the championship experience. A lot of these players have, not a lot, but at least you have LeBron, who's a multi-time champion. Give me the Lakers, even though we're tied 2-2, and home field is back with the Suns. But yeah, I'm on the Lakers. You?
So gun to my head. I'm leaning toward Lakers still. I think AD is going to come back sometime during the series. But I would not be surprised if Phoenix does win.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. And to be honest with you, I want Phoenix to lose because I want the Lakers fans to cry. I want them to cry in their beer because they're too cocky. They're too cocky, and they want to count. I only want the Lakers to lose because I want to invalidate that last championship they got last year. That's it. Let's invalidate that motherfucker.
I got you.
The Warriors didn't have a chance to really defend that title, man. They didn't have an opportunity. They got injured, and these guys just sneak one in, so it is what it is. All right. So I want the Lakers to lose. I'm picking the Lakers to win because I'm not a dummy. All right. Philly and Washington.
I think Philly, they're 3-1. They'll win. Even if they have to sit Joel Embiid or if he gets too hurt to play, I think they have enough to still beat Washington without him.
Okay. Can you guess who I have in the next series between the Hawks and the Knicks?
I think you're rolling with Ice Trey on that one.
Ice Trader gang. Hey, listen, man. I came in here. I called out a dude when I seen the dude before he was actually maybe even worthy. But he's that motherfucking dude, man. And Knicks, it was a fun little story. But the season's coming to an end, and I'm still happy for the Knicks fans because you got an opportunity to see your guys playing meaningful basketball late in the season.
I said last show that Atlanta should win because they do have more talent.
Yeah.
And what this shows the Knicks is, how the hell are they able to get to a 4 seed? First of all. Second of all, I like Julius Randle. I think he's an excellent player. He's one of those grinders that has improved every year. But this is showing the Knicks that they can't win. They can't begin to win. Think about winning a title if Randle's their best player.
Because he's not a dude. He's not a dude. He's close, but he's not a dude.
No.
He's not a dude. Let me ask you this. Not gun to your. This GM situation. You can get Trae Young, you can get Julius Randle. Who you taking?
I'm taking Trae Young.
Trae Young? Me too,
yeah.
Obviously. Biggest Trae Young fan there is. So yeah, I think the Hawks do their thing, and hey man, Philly better watch out. Philly better watch out looking in round 2 if they have that matchup with the Hawks, because that's not a walkover.
It's not a walkover. But if you put Ben Simmons on Trae Young, that's going to neutralize them a lot.
I don't think Ben Simmons can keep up with Trae Young. Trae Young was he 6'1"? The motherfucker's fucking fast. He's got unlimited range. The guy can shoot from almost half court with that.
Yeah, but he's going to have a hard time shooting over Ben Simmons if they decide to go that route. Otherwise, they could go Danny Green on them as well, and that's going to be a tough matchup because Danny Green can still defend. He left his shot back in 2012 when he was with the Spurs, but he can still defend.
He left his shot in the last decade, huh?
Man, remember he set the record for most threes in a playoff series?
Yeah.
And hasn't been the same since. I think he shot too many back then.
Trae Young's averaging 27.5. The Bogdan from the Sacramento Kings is averaging 16 points a game. He's got a plus minus of 15.5.
Yeah, he's been balling. He's been the person that Trae Young's been kicking out to when he gets a double team.
The Kings just didn't even bother to sign the dude.
Come on now, this is the Kings we're talking about. Do they have a direction yet? Does their franchise have a direction yet?
They didn't even sign him. Didn't trade him. They didn't sign and trade him. They just didn't sign him. Fucking criminal. Fucking criminal. So now that'll be an interesting matchup. But I don't think Ben Simmons can shut him down. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. The Bucks, clearly, there's no question here. With the sweep, with the real old school sweep, Bucks and the Nets. That's an outstanding second round matchup.
That is probably going to be the best second round matchup of the playoffs in a long time.
Long time.
Especially if you're talking about the East Conference playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, these two teams are good enough to both be in the finals.
Yeah, about to say, yeah. Like I said, hey man, I don't like to do hot takes, but I was on record as saying that, I think this year the East 1 through 6 is better than the West.
Yeah, I think they're definitely more top heavy, because everything that happened in the West, everyone dealt with more injuries in the West than it did in the East. That allowed Utah and Phoenix are the number 1 and 2 seeds in the West. That's crazy. Boston, Brooklyn loaded up. Milwaukee added Justin Holiday. That is going to be a tough series.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, the fact that Boston has actually played pretty well, considering they don't have Jaylen Brown, that shows you that Brooklyn fully expect them to win, to get to the final. But defense does matter. Defense does matter, and they don't play any.
Yeah. They just have too much talent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can break it down 5 ways to Saturday, but they just have too much talent. We got a big three like they have with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. It's just on any given day, one of the dudes will go the fuck off.
Yeah, any given day. But what if you, just hypothetically speaking, what if you run into a good defensive team that can't take away all 3 options, but they take away 2 of them? What then?
In my estimation, both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are unguardable. And then, James Harden. I don't think they're guardable. I don't think.
I agree with you on Kevin Durant. There's no defense for him. There really isn't, because he's tall, he has a high release, he can shoot from anywhere. There's no defense for him. But Kyrie, you can keep him out of the paint. Maybe not in 1-on-1 situation, but you can have enough defenders in his way to make him have a tough shooting night.
It's just that he's a guy that makes circus shots very often.
Yeah.
He makes a lot. I'm sorry about that. He makes a lot of circus shots, and nowadays these players are training step backs. Like, a step back is a fundamental shot that they shoot as much as they shoot a layup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I say his ball handle, he may be the best ball handler I've ever seen.
He's definitely up there.
I can't. The only one I put near his level is Isaiah Thomas, who's criminally underrated because of the era that he played in. But
definitely. So,
again, that's just going to be a great series. Looking forward to that one. It pretty much is etched in stone here. So that's kind of all I got on NBA, unless you got something else.
No, that's it. I'm anxiously awaiting a couple of good big game 5s coming up tomorrow. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and just before we go, I want to kind of touch on Naomi Osaka. And first of all, how refreshing it is. She's done a couple of things. That's a solid young lady right there.
Yes.
Now, just to be real, like, Naomi Osaka's got her father is Black, her mother is Japanese, and my kids are Black and Japanese. So in this household, that name Naomi Osaka it means a lot around this household. So she's been like an inspiration to my family. When she spoke on, this is May is mental health awareness month. And she spoke on not wanting to do those interviews because she was struggling with her mental health. It kind of got panned, and it just kind of got me to thinking like kind of how nasty people can be these days about that thing. And I gotta, first of all, I don't think it's easy for people who suffer from mental illnesses to talk about them publicly or to say, hey, you know what, I'm struggling with something right now. I don't think that's easy. And when she did that, they talked about finding her, and I guess
they did find her.
Yeah, they find her, and
they talked about suspending her for the tournament. And they made it seem like she was just not complying, just to not comply. And they sort of just brush that mental health thing, just brush that aside. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about you not talking to me. That has nothing to do with us. But go ahead. You have some more things to say.
Well, I was just say that my perspective on professional athletes and famous people. When I was younger, I looked at these people and I kind of looked at them like they were superheroes, and I always felt like these people just had the perfect life. They were rich, they were famous, they walked around and people gave them free candy. I'm 9. I'm like, man, rich probably get free candy and free soda. But you start to see as you get older, some of these guys who we looked up to as having like the perfect, like Arnold from Different Strokes.
Yeah.
He was one of the most famous people in the world. What you talking about, Willis? He made a living off of that, right? That guy pretty much died a broken man and penniless, right? There's just so many stories of Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, both those guys just had terrible fucking existences. And I think like famous is thing that allows people who feel an attachment or something to feel like they should be able to say and do whatever they want to that person. And it doesn't work for everybody. Being famous isn't something you can undo. Let's say you are a doctor. Let's say you're a great neurosurgeon. And you could save 100 lives a year. Doing a great thing. You're getting paid. You could go and you could speak at conferences. You could do these things and you could earn a really good life and have a life that people are very excited to meet you and shake your hands. But at any point in time, you could decide, you know what? I don't want to do neuroscience any longer. I don't want to do brain surgeries. I want to just relax and I want to go away from being this to doing this. And famous people, there's not an off button. Once you become famous, you become a part of just the tapestry, or people just feel entitled to you in the way they view you. And they feel entitled to tell you how they feel about you. Dave Chappelle, I love you, man. You're funny. Michael Jordan, you're the best. They probably scream. I'd imagine anywhere Michael Jordan goes, people, it's like you're in a zoo. People probably scream things to him, like positive things. For the most part, like 99% is probably positive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he doesn't have the freedom to go to Target. And with Naomi Osaka, she's expressing that being famous hasn't been good for her. Since she's become famous, she's suffered with her mental health. And, and you look at these basketball players, I'm segueing into basketball. We're watching, Kyrie Irving. Was it good? Kyrie Irving, somebody threw a water bottle at him?
Someone threw a water bottle at Kyrie.
What the fuck is wrong with these people? Somebody threw popcorn on Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm. Somebody spit on John Morant. No, Trae Young, excuse me.
I'm going to guess that none of the people, I'm going to guess that the guy that threw popcorn on Russell Westbrook wasn't a black guy. I'm going to
guess that. I haven't seen the video to see who the person was, but I could probably strongly say that he wasn't.
Because if I go, first of all, popcorn is overpriced when you go to the arena. And if I spend $12 on a bucket of popcorn, I'm not going to waste $6 throwing it on fucking Russell Westbrook. My popcorn.
Yeah.
I might have a couple kernels to throw at him. The guy that threw a water bottle at Russell Westbrook
Kyrie.
Now that guy was definitely not a black guy.
Yeah, he got arrested though.
The guy got arrested. He got arrested. What we are seeing right now is that people are being treated as though they are not humans, not people deserving of respect and dignity. And that shit has got to fucking stop, man. That shit has got to fucking stop. It has to be recognized. And we're seeing, Kevin Durant, for, all of his talents, is a very prickly human being. He's super petty. He was the pettiest guy on our top 5 petty list, I believe, right?
I think he was up there. Yeah.
He was up there, right? He's got like a burner account. And like I've heard people say, why does Kevin Durant have a burner account? He's got all this money. He's got all these things. And it's almost as if the way Kevin Durant feels isn't important because he has money and he's famous. It's like we've got to stop thinking like, no, Kevin Durant is just a person who happens to be really good at basketball. Mm-hmm. But I'm petty. I'm very petty. Smack God, I'm very petty. And if I get money and fame, I'm still going to be petty, guys. I would be the wrong person for you to troll. Create a burner account, and I talk about your mama. I talk about your wife if she was fat. I would talk about your eyes if they was crooked. I talk about your kids if they was ugly. All right? So I'm saying all that to say is that, hey, man, the Naomi Osaka thing in this household, it hits harder. Much love and respect to her. I do hope that they figure out a way to make things comfortable for her, or they even change the media things. Maybe she can choose between a certain number of reporters and they sit and maybe do a one-on-one type of setting in her setting where she's comfortable. Find a way to make it work for the person, because she's not a circus seal. She's not a penguin in a zoo that has to be trotted out there. And the bottom line is, hey, French Open, Naomi Osaka, box office. If she was on TV and I'm flipping through, oh, Naomi Osaka's playing, I'm watching. Guess what? If she's not playing, I ain't watching. Unless we got Serena, unless we got Venus.
Yeah, I agree. I applaud her for stepping away. I applaud her for the statement that she made while stepping away today. She put it on her mental health. Again, she said she did not want to take away from tennis. She didn't want to be a distraction. So she's walking away so everybody else could focus on tennis and she could focus on herself, bringing it back to the fact that this was all about her mental health. This was not a ploy. This is not, Marshawn Lynch out there because he's not trying to get fined. This was her suffering from depression, suffering from anxiety, thinking about being in front of reporters just brought anxiousness to herself that she can't have if she's trying to win a dang tournament, which is what she's there for. I applaud her for walking away. I despise the fact that, I get tennis is not a team sport. I get that. But there is should be a certain camaraderie that is shared between tennis players. And it seems like none of the other tennis players had her back. It just seemed like
they come out and say, hey, man, you know what? She's right.
Yeah, nobody said that. I think it was a couple people like Rafael Nadal said, oh, yeah, I understand, but this is our obligation. Well, then you're not understanding. Then you're not understanding what she's saying. You're just sort of dismissing that. And I think there are a lot of players that were like that. They just, maybe not a lot of players, but some of the name, one person should have said something to have her back.
Somebody should have spoke up for the young lady.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, it's not a team sport, and maybe some people were looking forward to her not being there so they could win the thing instead of her. But again, I hate the fact that nobody said anything on her behalf.
And it's well, yeah, that is terrible. And again, I think it costed the French Open.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised that if next year she skips the French Open.
Well, she doesn't do good on clay anyway, so she might.
She just goes, hey, you know what? I don't like your tournament. You guys were going to find me. You find me. Yeah. So I'm just not playing for you. Yeah. I don't need to play for you.
Yeah.
You got money. She don't need the money. She can skip this one and be just fine.
Yeah, she'll be good.
She don't need the money. She doesn't need the stress. So good on her for sticking to her guns. Good on her for having the bravery to speak about how she really feels. And I just really do hope they find a way. And I think that as a society, we've got to find a way to still understand that these people are they're humans, they're people, they have feelings, they have good qualities, bad qualities. And it's not fair for us to put our expectations on these people to the point that, or even just to feel the comfort, like I'm just gonna throw a water bottle. What the fuck? Who does that?
I have no idea.
I have
no. That's who does that? Someone who is not happy with their own life, and they want to take it out on somebody else.
When was the last time somebody threw a water bottle at you?
That would be the day before never.
Right. So it's wild. These things are literally happening, and they're happening in a really small period of time. It's like, we came out of this pandemic. We're kind of getting life back to normal, and people have forgotten how to play nice with others.
They've forgotten how to be civilized. I think I saw something the other day where like the amount of incidents at airports is going up like 70%. It's something ridiculous like that, where people are finally allowed to travel now, but they're getting all wild on the flight attendants and TSA and everything like that.
Yes, wow.
So it's like letting animals out of the cage, and and all of a sudden they're going crazy.
I got into a big fight at my son's t-ball game. So we have a game, and my son has been practicing his baseball. I told you this. Like, hey man, I don't know shit about baseball. We're just gonna practice.
Yeah.
So he's doing his thing. He smacks the ball. Wow. Opposite field. Ball flies off the bat. And I'm coaching. I'm like, yeah, son, let's go. A mom from the other team was in the outfield, and she bats the ball down.
Are you serious?
I got the video, and I'm like, I posted, and I'm like, what just happened? Why did that mom just do that?
Was she already in the outfield?
Yeah, she didn't run. I don't even know why she was in the outfield with her child, but she was in the outfield with her child, standing there. She wasn't supposed to be there. But she steals my son's joy away by knocking down his home run. We get into a big old argument, and then hey, you guys got to get off the field. And it gets into this big ass argument. So here I am, I'm the coach, but I'm getting frustrated. They won't get off the field. So I'm arguing with these people about just following the rules. And I might have looked like, hey man, why is this guy arguing? But what are you guys doing? Literally, get off. They wouldn't get off the field. And then yesterday, there's an incident at a basketball game. It's like, what's up with people? I don't recall people being this prickly a year ago. So it might take some time for us to get used to, just being respectful and playing nice with one another.
It probably is just used to us, us getting used to interacting with people outside of our family. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we're all working from home and shit. So, yeah, man, I thought I would share that story. That's a legit story that actually happened to me. So I'm not that shocked to see people throwing stuff at people, or but it has to be addressed, and we gotta everybody gotta just pause for a second. Take a couple deep breaths and say, oh man, I actually have to get used to interacting with strangers again.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the thing. That's the only thing that I could attribute it to. It's just people aren't used to being around people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The incidents, they're happening, it seems like every day. So hopefully as the playoffs go on and people get used to being outside and amongst other people, hopefully it'll go down. We'll see.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Anyway, Hey, man, we got out of here. It's about an hour and 4 minutes, or an hour and 5. All right, we kept it kind of short this week.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's check in a couple days, see where the series is at before we head into round 2. And I don't know. Let's hope we have a good sports week.
I have a good feeling about the sports week. And by the way, Dre Ibarra, you have been officially invited to bring yourself to the show. Want to hear your takes.
Yes, sir.
Or good ones. But man, I enjoy doing the show with you. I'm enjoying these playoffs. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Another episode of the Gumby Show. This is BLZ, the Smack God. That is the marvelous one. We thank you for being in. Do all that shit that they always say at the end of these videos. Like, subscribe, comment, share.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
All right, man. I'm out.